Wu Ziyu swung his roots far, far away. The roots looked like electric wires connecting the city to the highlands. Tree roots continuously enter and exit the forest. Each time they enter or exit, they catch an animal. The wild boar was confessing to the pig girl he liked, and the pig girl was also taken away by the roots. Happiness flashed before my eyes. From then on, the pig became a sad boy. Tree roots work extremely efficiently, rising and diving, exploding throughout the forest. Then they continuously pull back root bags containing animal carcasses inside and dangle around the main roots. The scene was like hell on earth. But it can't be said that we don't like the evolutionary points that keep coming back bunch by bunch. Lose 100 points and gain 200, only profit, no loss. Soon I will become a rich man. You wait, little snake, I will come find you soon. I won't have to look for you. Little Snake missed you so much that he dragged himself to find you so you don't have to worry. Use 100 points to evolve a tree root into a cane root. The 1000 Malm cane root has the additional effect of draining the opponent's strength. It's too long. Use the root to wrap around the area a few times to easily know what danger is coming. Big Brother was shocked for a moment but continued to yell, "Stop whining! Xiaoling is about to come and feed you. He's too rude and hasn't been released from prison yet. Look at that monkey in the back. He's reformed so well that he's swinging on the rope now." That reminds me of how the red wolf walked from dawn until almost dusk, but still hasn't arrived yet. Wu Ziyu doesn't know, but Baby Snake knows the reason. He's still bathing in blood. Wu Ziyu looked towards the gloomy sky. It was almost dark, but he still expected the silhouette of the red wolf and his two daughters. It's a bit tense. The leader of the Kestrel will go find them for you right away. Will they be forced to sell to China? Hey, this is China. In short, look carefully and don't miss any signs. Just as he ordered the Kestrel to search, Little Pig crawled to the house. It's quite literal. It fell with a thud, its body covered in large and small wounds covered in blood. Wu Ziyu was stunned to hear Little Pig cough a few times. It seems like it takes only a second for the soul to leave the body. He quickly straightened the vine to give milk to the red wolf. Little Pig quickly recovered. Wu Ziyu panicked and asked about the whereabouts of the other two people. Why was only the red wolf back? With a thud, the answer came right in front of him. Wu Ziyu stared at the source of that loud noise. He clearly saw Xiaoking's blood-stained arm floating in the air. His loved one was harmed. The feeling of anger that was then rolling within him was a mixture of anger, disgust, and fear. He exclaimed heavily no. After being painted, Baby Snake was much bigger than before. This time, he came back and brought gifts. The most special gift today was Xiaoking's corpse hanging from his fangs. Xiaoking died. Her face was pale with no signs of life. Wu Ziyu screamed Xiaoking's name. The scream of despair echoed across the world. No matter how many times he shouted, Xiaoking could not answer. On the contrary, it made the snake even more excited and grinned. It brought a gift but had no intention of giving it. It threw Xiaoking's body into the air, opened its mouth, smiled, and prepared to enjoy it. Although I don't know if it is poisonous or not, this snake demon is definitely extremely evil and cruel. Bring Xiaoking without eating and go to Wu Ziyu to eat, simply wanting to dip the human flesh with the desperate pain of the willow tree. You like it very much, right? Then I'll chew it for you to see. Wu Ziyu of course don't let the snake chew his daughter. He put all his strength into throwing his roots at the snake, immediately let go of his mouth. The roots of the tree stretched out long and sharp, aiming quickly at Baby Snake. When the snake discovered it, the root poked straight into its body. The force of the blow was so strong that it fell backwards, throwing Xiaoking's body out of its mouth. Wu Ziyu was completely mad at this point and shouted, "Don't touch her!" Wu Ziyu used the roots to wrap Xiaoking and pull them towards him. Fortunately, he had upgraded the roots just now, making them 1,000 meters long. Just hit the snake, otherwise he could only watch as Xiaoking was eaten. The feeling of helplessness at that time would haunt Wu Ziyu for the rest of his life. Root attack. This time is different from the first time we met. This time the attack penetrated the snake's skin. Make the snake afraid of the power of the willow tree. The snake, by absorbing the milk from the tree branch last time, evolved and changed both its appearance and strength. This time it came back intending to chew the whole tree alive. Even brought Xiaoking's body to anger Wu Ziyu. But the attack just now made it think again. He didn't expect Wu Ziyu to be this strong. If it weren't for Wu Ziyu's quick attempt to retrieve He Xiaoking's body, he would have penetrated it. He knew this was his chance and had to take it at all costs. The snake turned around and ran away immediately. Just as he thought Wu Ziyu didn't care if he ran or not. What he cared about more than anything was the body of He Xiaoking lying in front of him. The girl's body seemed to have stiffened, and her whole body was bruised and bleeding. There is also a large hole in the middle of the abdomen. Wu Ziyu's face darkened. He knew that He Xiaoking was dead, but he did not accept that. So he continuously poured life essence into He Xiaoking's body. The system continuously announced that life essence had been added, but also announced that no life was detected. Do you want to use more evolution points? Of course I do, damn it. Wu Ziyu was sweating profusely and silently begged He Xiaoking to wake up. The monsters were also worried about He Xiaoking and cried frantically. The tense Wu Ziyu turned and glared with all his murderous intent. Silent, he did not give up continuing to infuse life essence into He Xiaoking. Just keep spreading the word. The animals silently observed He Xiaoking's movements carefully. Some people are so worried that they cry. Wu Ziyu continued like this until the remaining evolution points were 0 points. He hoped He Xiaoking could wake up, but He Xiaoking didn't sleep at all. Evolution points have returned to 0. Wu Ziyu's face darkened, and he remained silent without saying a word. On the other hand, in the village, the doctor was treating He Xiaoling with a physical condition no different from He Xiaoking. Unfortunately, this village's medical skills were too limited. Plus, He Xiaoling ran away, causing the snake poison to spread to important organs. Even if he survives, he will become a vegetable. The village chief and a group of people came in from outside. Grandfather questioned He Xiaoking's situation, but they couldn't find it. Maybe He Xiaoking had been eaten by a beast. After hearing this, Grandpa's face turned pale and he passed out on the spot. All events in the house were seen in every detail by the kestrel. That's how is it. Wu Ziyu's mood was still tense. He Xiaoling's condition is also quite bad. When the honey badger heard it, he cried even louder. The wolf's cage was opened. I've heard that trees have the feeling that they will wilt because of being yelled at and scolded. It's also possible that because of listening to music, lush flowers bloom, but an angry tree is unprecedented. Wu Ziyu released the beasts one by one. If there had never been an angry tree, there would be one today. Wu Ziyu screamed madly. The first time I saw him had a mouth full of sharp teeth. He ordered the beasts under his command to use all their strength to begin the game of revenge. At White Lake Islands for more than half a year, tragic accidents have continuously occurred. In 17 cases at sea, only counting ships, 20 ships were sunk within 15 days. The authorities discover strange mutant creatures. First came the flock of black crows in the sky. Next are the monsters in the deep sea. Typically, an octopus has a mouth in its tentacles. All of them are mutated creatures with unusually aggressive personalities. They constantly attack planes and ships passing by. Moreover, they evolve very quickly and continuously expand their territory. The sounds of the attacks recorded from aircraft and ship radios reflected an unimaginable level of horror. Because of the fear of the White Lake Islands area, it is called the Dead Land. At the command center, people constantly receive reports of new mutant species and new collisions. That's the type of information we've often heard in the past half a year. This news is hot. Today, many energy sources have been recorded exceeding 5,000 and continuing to increase. When the commander heard the news, he was stunned. He ordered the zoning of areas with energy levels above 5,000 points. The reason he was so tense was because of the scale of strength that humans judge. A creature with an energy level of 1,000 is equivalent to an army soldier armed with a gun. Creatures with an energy level of 5,000 are almost immune to normal guns and bullets. In general, it is extremely dangerous. The commander was extremely frightened. He couldn't believe his eyes when the screen showed that there were 8 areas with energy levels above 5,000. Don't be too surprised. The main news has just been announced now. The system screen flashed red, signaling danger, and the commander looked up. Surprise! The front screen is filled with warning text. The system detected an energy level above 18,000. The brother-in-law was bewildered and couldn't open his mouth to say a word. What? 18,000? That's right, 18,000. Looking at it makes me want to have a heart attack. For humanity, this is the doom of the world. Returning to the forest under the abyss, The battle was fierce. Its impact creates countless large and small explosions like bombs. The first main character in this deep forest war is Baby Snake. Baby Snake just bit his co-star's wing. The third stage White Stork fought playfully, but Baby Snake bit really hard, causing a bit of pain and spitting out a mouthful of blood. In nature, most of the time, size comes with strength. This time the opponent of Wuziu's pets is Baby Snake. We are small compared to this fiercely rushing cow, right? A cow is still tiny compared to a snake, just like the apple in front of us. Although the cow rushed in with great force, Baby Snake wore spiked armor, so the cow's horns were damaged and their horns were broken. The second stage bull had used all its attack power to the point that it was dizzy, but the damage caused to the snake was 0%. It was like a king dominating everything. Who is afraid of the king? Honey Badger is not afraid of him. The honey badger climbed onto the snake's body and crawled close to its head, cursing. The snake is 7 parts cold and 3 parts indifferent, giving a single glance and a slap. The stage 3 honey badger shoots blood everywhere. The honey badger uses its beak to cut into the snake's scales. This beak was not only used for swearing, but was also used to chew dried beef that Chulin gave him. That happy time in prison only happens once in this life. Big Brother Honey Badger's eyes filled with tears. He bit tightly on the snake's scales. Even though he's so cheeky, Big Brother is a bit emotional. The honey badger is nothing compared to this painted snake. The honey badger also knew that, but the anger it carried inside made it dare to rush and bite the snake's scales. The happiness it received was taken away by this snake, and it must take revenge. But in life, you don't have to be angry and punch everyone to death. Honey Badger was hit by Baby Snake's tail and thrown hard to the ground. Even so, if it can bite off the snake's scale, it will be considered a success. The Honey Badger's lifelong effort made the snake itch a little. Next, 4 wolves climbed up at the same time, 3 of them playing like a wolf, biting their mouths on the snake. One of them played dog style, poking the snake in the eye with his paw. Even though it was a bad play, it could be said that the eye-gouging attack was the most painful attack Baby Snake had ever received. The snake got angry and wrapped its body around strongly, throwing 4 wolves out of its body. His eyes were bleeding, but his mouth was still curled up. This proved that the animals were beating him. It just made him laugh and didn't feel like he was being beaten at all. Finally, it was the Red Wolf's turn to go into battle. Turning angry eyes at the snake, Little Pink was hot from the inside out, literally on fire after being infused with Wuziu's life essence. Red Wolf has entered stage 8. Only 1 level behind Baby Snake. Baby Snake was also a bit surprised when he saw it. This is the 4th time they have met. The first time is in the role of prey with the predator. The second time was when the snake encountered the willow tree. The third time was when Little Pink tried to protect the 2 sisters. In the last confrontation, the red soy was just a stage 7 beast. Besides watching King and Chulin being torn apart by snakes, it couldn't resist in the slightest. At that time, Little Pink swallowed her tears and thought about how to make herself stronger. The desire for strength to protect its loved ones filled its mind. By the time of the 4th confrontation, that desire had ignited and it wanted to chew the snake's head. Even though Baby Snake is very strong, he is still afraid of being roasted by fire. It was smart enough to realize that it couldn't let the red wolf in front of it live another day. The snake opened its mouth and wanted to swallow Little Pink into its stomach. Little Pink isn't stupid. It used extremely fast speed to circle under the snake's jaw and then rushed up to help the snake close its mouth to avoid the draft and sore throat. The baby snake and the red wolf both had the same thought at this time. They wanted to finish off the opponent with 1 blow. The snake roared. It and the red wolf fought each other and writhed on the ground. The baby snake has a large body that makes it need to hunt to evolve its armor and battle axe to provide comprehensive offensive and defensive capabilities. So normally, to confront it, other creatures have to evolve themselves a lot or become its food chain. Fighting baby snake also requires more strength and flexibility. The red wolf must accept that baby snake's head is extremely dangerous. The axe on the snake's head hits it once and it dies immediately. But the red wolf is clinging to the snake's head. The snake rushed its head hard to the ground in an attempt to free the red wolf. The impact was so strong that it caused a landslide. Surely he would destroy the red werewolf. The dust melted away and the little snake was surprised. Even though the red wolf was covered in blood, it still clung tightly to its head. This time, the red wolf definitely wouldn't leave the snake alone. It wanted to avenge the two people who were attacked by the snake. Even if they died, the snake would be disabled. All of Little Pink's hatred was concentrated in her eyes, making the snake momentarily panic. Reflexively kicked Little Pink away. The kestrel rushed from the sky to rescue Little Pink. Extreme speed creates a powerful one-shot, one-kill attack. It almost punctured the snake's body. This made it scream in pain. If it wasn't itchy just now, is it itchy now? The snake was pushed back. The place where it was hit just now is still smoking. The smoke dissipated, revealing a large crater mark on the snake's body. In the past, Wu Ziyu used all his strength to poke at this mark and couldn't get it out. It turns out that raising birds is not a waste of money. Little Pink has suffered too much damage and is breathing heavily. Luckily, the kestrel came to assist. If not, you will probably lose your life. The group of falcons is led by a falcon with two tufts of blonde hair longer than the others. This leader is the one who witnessed Xiaoling lying barely alive at the village. Its wrath is no different from Little Pink. It just wanted to quickly puncture the snake's entire body. After the hit just now, Baby Snake also felt a bit sore. One bird rushed into it and broke its armor, but now facing it was a whole flock of 8 birds. It growled and threatened the birds, but the leader shouted directly at it. Just threatening to play, but he actually cursed and made my throat stiff. In the sky there are flocks of kestrels. There is also a red wolf on the ground watching its every move. The flock of birds gave the snake a big shock. Not only with the fire of hatred burning in their hearts, they are also willing to sacrifice their lives to defeat the snake. If you don't sleep in physics class, you will know that any object can create friction when moving in space. If we wipe at a speed greater than 12,000 kilometers in the air, our body will be burned by friction and die. Projectile bullets. The Falcon's special skills harm both enemies and themselves because its operating principle is to rush at high speed. It will seriously injure the opponent. However, like a double-edged sword, it will be suicidal if it does not penetrate the opponent. However, the power of 8 falcons when using projectiles is unimaginable. The mother falcon was bitten to death by a wild animal while looking for food for them. The day their mother died, they waited all day with hungry stomachs and they could only wait to die. But Wu Ziyu found them, fed them and let them shit on their faces, nurturing them until now. It was like a ray of light shining through the darkness and saving them. The day its mother didn't come back, they probably had to rot in their own nest, but they lived and flew in the sky. Wu Ziyu was family to the kestrels. That day, when Xiaoking lay motionless before Wu Ziyu's eyes, they felt the deep sadness that permeated the air. They remember clearly what they saw the moment their family mentally collapsed. So all 8 decided for Wu Ziyu to rush straight to Baby Snake and give it a finishing blow. This is the only thing they can do now to repay Wu Ziyu. Even if they have to die, they will do it. And they are doing it. They are coming like bullets. The snake rolled its eyes. The storm-like attack creates pressure that blows away everything around it. The trees, flowers, leaves, and dust were all thrown out. Little Pink also almost flew away. Fortunately, it holds tight. The snake's pain was clearly visible on his face. His body prepared another hole. The flock of birds pierced through several sections of the snake's tail, hitting the snake's body, causing it to fly a long way. The falcon had already hit him, but he still put all his strength into it. Must pierce through people. The attack ends. The baby snake fell to the ground. Just falling will create pressure and cut dust everywhere. The flock of kestrels scattered and fell out. Among them, the red wolf was pushed away by the pressure of the bullets and immediately ran back to check the situation. I don't know if the enemy is dead yet, but I see that all our troops are dead. The whole flock of birds lay with their beaks open, one at a time. The snake also followed the trend of opening its mouth. Our side lies scattered. The honey badger was still biting the scales lying with the stork and cow. The wolves lay unconscious together. The only one awake is the red wolf, but it was also seriously injured. Surprise! Baby snake loomed out of the smoke. Just opening our mouths together was just for fun. What age do you want me to do? The skin is a little broken, but not dead. The red wolf was so surprised that he was stunned. The snake panted like a dog. The blow from earlier also hurt, but the birds have all fainted. Well, I'm a little angry at the wolf in front of me. Little Snake got mad and swung his axe tail straight at Little Pink. The attack filled with anger was launched as fast as lightning. Before Little Pink could react, the axe blade came close to her head. The powerful chop created a huge explosion that echoed across the world. The attack stopped. In the rising smoke, a tail with a sharp axe blade was revealed. The snake laughed happily, but it was a bit early. Look back to see if you cut anything yet and laugh. Its axe blade couldn't even cut into the black root, not to mention cutting off the roots that are protecting Little Pink below. Little Snake cried out, "Oh my God, where did so much smoke come from? Behind you, it's not smoke, it's fog." A terrifyingly large cloud of mist erupted from behind Baby Snake. Fog obscured all vision. At the heart of the fog was Wuziyu, who was roaring with murderous intent. Staring at the damned snake, he became angry. "Finally caught you, Baby Snake," caught in the illusion of the blind bone, clearly felt the fear of the willow tree. "It feels like a purple worm." So, seeing Wuziyu made his face look stupid. Like many other animals, its survival instinct tells it to run quickly. Little Snake runs headlong. He definitely won't solo the opponent in front of him. Remembering the first time we met, he took away half of Wuziyu's vines. Thanks to that, it evolved to the ninth stage. It attacked Hikshioling because he saw Wuziyu's scent on them. The next time he met again, he knew he was no longer the willow tree's opponent. Not only that, he was seriously injured. That made it want to run even further away from Wuziyu. But it calculated wrongly. It didn't expect Wuziyu to use other creatures to lure it into a trap. "Now that I'm trapped, I can't run away." Wuziyu pulled out all the roots and wrapped them around the snake's body. "Tidy up with a penthouse tied in the woods." Wuziyu roared in a scary tone. "I caught you. Everything comes to an end." He used the roots to pull the snake towards him. The more the snake struggled, the tighter the tree roots became. Finally put it in the air. Wuziyu showed an extremely horror face. The bitterness of all these years will be paid back to the snake today. Die. Finish speaking immediately. Use a tree root to firmly press the snake's head to the ground. Stop creating karma. Baby Snake's head sank to the ground. This was just the first blow. Wuziyu still didn't feel comfortable. He temporarily withdrew his roots. The baby snake crawled on the ground. The 9 huge tree roots in front of it all came from the willow tree that not long ago it cut in half with its tail. He raised his head and his mouth blowed, but now he couldn't feel it. The pain that was overwhelming his mind right now was fear. The brain, spinal cord, and even the smallest nerves are being eroded by the wrath of the willow tree in front of you. The anger in my heart for so long finally has the day to scream at this damn snake. Since you're trying to make trouble with me, don't even dream of getting out of here alive. The snake knows that running away is impossible. The only way is to use merit as defense. It screamed. Use the trunk to wrap around the willow tree and tighten the trunk. Even though this made him vomit blood, it was better than dying without struggling. The baby snake is much bigger than the willow tree's roots, easily wrapping itself around the tree a few times and tightening it. Wuziyu used his roots to defend against the attack. "This is your last move, right?" He grinned. The once cute egg has now become the face of a murderer. "Don't you have any other skills?" He used his roots to poke straight into the hole the birds had punched. Bright red flesh and blood were exposed, combined with each piece of armor falling off, making the crack larger. Just one root. No need to rush. There are 8 more left. Wuziyu frantically screamed for Baby Snake to return the lives of Hikshioling and Hikshioling. Along with that are continuous attacks with 500% power. Blood splashed out. The baby snake vomited blood continuously. Still not enough. Wuziyu was still screaming, continuing to vent his anger with each attack. Every blow is a fatal blow. Hit the snake straight into the meat. He seemed crazy. This anger comes from his love for his 2 children who are not even blood relatives. 2 girls were brought by God to save him from loneliness. Thinking about them made him realize they were dead. Because of him he died. He was screaming and crying. He gathered his roots and wrapped them together to form a large fist. He put all his strength into throwing a punch, carrying all the anger in his heart. Die, bitch. The power of that punch just now was of course extremely terrible. Dust shot up into the sky, bombarding a large area. Wuziyu stopped beating the snake that lay like a torn leaf on the ground, surrounded by large and small punch marks. It is dead. The system announces the return of 90 points. This snake only has 90 points. Unlike me, Wu Ziyu didn't care how many points he'd earned. I only know that his anger has not stopped yet. The animals carried each other home. The cow carries the stork on its back and the monkey carries the honey badger. It was scared by the scene of Wu Ziyu's emotional explosion. Turned to submit to Wu Ziyu. Wu Ziyu lifted up the roots, rolled them, threw them into the snake's mouth and shouted, "Get up, continue to raise it and hit it more." Wu Ziyu continued to hit the snake's body a few more times, in the presence of Little Pink and the wolves. They silently looked at Wu Ziyu, who was calling the snake to stand up to fight again. With tears in his eyes, he screamed at the snake, telling it to stand up. The snake was beaten to death by him long ago. Of course he knew, but he continued to hit it. He kept hitting and crying. His roots were stained with blood. The snake has lost its shape. There's nothing left to punch at anymore. He had tears in his eyes. Then he raised his face to the sky and shouted loudly, "What should I do? He already killed the baby snake, so what else can he vent his anger on? He is not wrong. It's not wrong for a snake to kill people. I'm not wrong either. What's wrong is the way things work in this world. The big fish eats the little fish. The strong overpower the weak. All living creatures also fight for their lives, even though they also know that other people are full of emotions like them. It is still difficult for the weak to survive. The life that dies will compensate for the life that remains. New lives are constantly being born." Wu Ziyu knows these principles clearly. Becoming a willow tree, he understood even more clearly. Obvious things should not be sad because of that. But sadness still appears. He couldn't stop crying. Can't stop loving. Can't stop being upset. Not only him, the animals also cried loudly. The closer you are, the more you feel the pain of separation. A light for you only takes a second, but it makes my day. Like it to give me the motivation to produce more stories, my dear. Night falls and the forest returns to its mysterious silence. The whole village at the foot of the mountain quietly fell into a deep sleep. Only 3 people rushed to the village gate because the village chief and the woodcutter suddenly discovered Xiaoking's clean body lying still on the ground. When she finally returned to the village chief, who was also Xiaoking's grandfather, hugged Xiaoking tightly in his arms. Even though he was dead, he was still home. Still intact like this, the Red Wolf himself brought Xiaoking here, staring at him from a far corner, heartbroken and unable to leave. It was also this night that Wu Ziyu rewarded them after defeating the snake. Wu Ziyu brought out the life essence. This green drop is exactly what the snake desperately sought. For animals there is only benefit and no harm. Honey badger and stupid monkey have never tasted it before and look at it with desire. Give the essence of life as a celebratory wine as well as say goodbye to the animals. In the future, whoever goes will go. Whoever stays will stay without force. 1 drop for each child. Every child has a part. Honey badger closed its eyes and opened its mouth to receive the essence that it had secretly wished for a long time. The cow and the wolf, after drinking the essence, glowed and flew into the air. That's a sign of evolution. Wu Ziyu has witnessed the evolution of the thugs several times and always admires their transformation. The cow enters the 3rd stage and changes shape with the natural ability of sharp iron horns and the special ability to step on the great land. The force of the front legs can shake the ground. The wolves also evolved into wind wolves. Impossible. Humans are probably the same. His mist can also be considered an element. The thick fog emitted by the tree canopy is like inhaling oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide, causing hallucinations like a special stimulant secreted that affects the nerves. The other 2 have evolved, so why hasn't this bunch of bastards changed at all? Each child only goes to 1 stage. Everyone looks stupid. The wind wolf group bowed their heads to the ground. Wu Ziyu didn't understand what it meant. The stork and honey badger looked at each other and nodded. Finally, they both bowed their heads. He began to understand the problem. They are worshipping the teacher and honoring him as a teacher and a noble master. He didn't expect them to be willing to stay by his side. He had tears in his eyes. The stupid monkey held out his hand, pretending to be a gentleman and inviting Wu Ziyu. Even though this yellow-haired one is the weakest, Wu Ziyu cried loudly and promised to be stronger and absolutely not let the beasts die. We'll definitely protect them. The animals lined up in front of Wu Ziyu. Every child is full of enthusiasm. They themselves, as Wu Ziyu reminded themselves, must become stronger to serve their master. This world, after all, there are so many things that Wu Ziyu doesn't know. He doesn't know, because there is only one way to become strong to continue living. He screamed and cried and said, only by continuing to live will we know more and understand everything. He told himself that he must be so strong that everyone is afraid of him. Everything focuses on him. In the dark night, the eyes of the falcons perched on the willow branches glowed. Along with the red wolf's eyes are dark because they are more mature after what they have gone through. The night was cold, and the stars were dense. I don't know how many people know what seems to be pregnant in the ravine. The landslide decisive battle with the snake seems to have never happened. At this time, Wu Ziyu inside the body of Willow Tree clearly understood the nature that Rank 1 brought. Kestrels are in charge of air patrols. White Wolf controls the ground. Buffaloes, monkeys, storks clean up the battlefield. Red Wolf as guardian. The honey badger is in charge of sleeping for everyone, but everyone does it at night, and no one gets to sleep, but something seems a bit wrong. Wu Ziyu used his roots to pick up the honey badger. He was angry because the honey badger was lazy, and honey badger is angry because his sleep was interrupted. Wu Ziyu used the vine to sign, "Hurry up and work for me." Big brother honey badger watched without missing a single move. But because I don't have a degree in tree language, I translated it into, if you're good, then come here. I will kill you every second and every minute. Big brother honey badger rushed up. What are you afraid of? Don't think you don't have hair on your face. While competing with the badger, the blinding light distracted his thoughts. In the middle of the air, there was a small ball that radiated amazing light. Like a small sun in the middle of a dark night, inside the sphere is a tiny yellow girl curled up as if sleeping. The girl slowly opened her eyes. Her face seemed familiar. Wu Ziyu still couldn't see what was inside the sphere because the light was too blinding. The ball of light rushed towards the willow tree at the speed of light, causing Wu Ziyu to panic and raise the vines to defend. Don't come over here. The first time I saw the full face of an egg was in such despicable circumstances. The ball passed through his vines and continued to rush forward. Wu Ziyu sweated. It's true that he specializes in using physical attacks, but this thing is immune to physical attacks, which is surprising. The ball rushed close to his face before he saw the little girl inside. Her face looked exactly like Xiaoking, making him panic like he was dreaming even though he hadn't slept yet. The ball of light continued to rush towards the willow tree. It landed gently on his roots. What is this? The system informs that the willow tree's special ability is to nourish the soul. Mutated tree roots are something the soul really likes. Another way to say this skill is that big trees often attract ghosts, guys. So don't go near big trees at night. The little girl lay obediently on his roots. Information display system. Xiaoking. The current human race is a mutated soul, gifted with physical immunity, a special ability to strengthen the spirit, causing it to temporarily exist as a soul after death. There is also another intrinsic thing called spiritual induction. There is a spiritual person in this world who is compatible with her. In my opinion, it's probably the twin sister Xiaoling. How many things in this world are beyond textbooks? However, he knows soul nourishment. In memory, there is a tree called nurturing the passive soul, whose branches can be worn on the body to nourish the soul. Keep your mind from being scattered. Although it is not as sublime as in memory, the effect of nurturing the soul is still there. Suddenly remembered the 2 willow wands that Wu Ziyu gave to the sisters. It finally made sense. Wu Ziyu used roots to surround Xiaoking. She regained consciousness but couldn't remember who Wu Ziyu was and couldn't remember where this place was. Can't even remember my own name. Is Xiaoking not reincarnated because he died too suddenly or because he didn't want to let go of his loved ones in this world? Whatever the reason, it should be related to Wu Ziyu. Her name is Xiaoking. He continued, she is my important person. Xiaoking looked up at the egg. Wu Ziyu further told her that this time he would definitely protect her and not let her disappear again. Honey Badger also stared at him. It couldn't see Xiaoking's soul at all. He thought Wu Ziyu was talking to him, even though I don't understand the sound of trees. But it understands human language and hears every word clearly. You are my important person. Makes it so emotional that it wants to die. Suddenly, Xiaoking held her head and cried that the surroundings were too noisy. She also saw many people calling Xiaoling's name, begging Xiaoling to wake up. Those people were all crying. The images and sounds from that place flowed straight into Xiaoking's head, but she didn't know who they were. Wu Ziyu looked at Xiaoking's reaction and thought that the memory after amnesia had become chaotic. Now, Xiaoling is a vegetable. I don't know if the soul will leave the body or not. Xiaoling's soul has not appeared yet, meaning she is still alive, or it could also be a soul fusion after death. It's also very possible, because they are twins. Currently, two souls are one body. Xiaoking's soul is still not completely stable. Try giving milk drops to see if there is any reaction. Wu Ziyu asked Xiaoking to stand still. He drops the essence directly onto the sphere. After receiving the essence, it immediately shined brighter than before. Xiaoking's body has gotten a little bigger, also more stable. Now she can see clearly instead of vague images. She told him, "It seems like I can see it." Looking at what? Xiaoking was too lazy to describe, so he offered to take the egg to see it directly. Suddenly, for a moment, Wu Ziyu didn't understand how she could do it. Egg arrived at the room, where Xiaoling's body was placed on the bed. There was also a group of villagers there. Wu Ziyu clearly saw Xiaoling in front of him. Xiaoking just brought Wu Ziyu's spirit away without bringing the egg here. People in the village advised grandfather not to be too sad. He covered his eyes with his hand. Xiaoling looks like he's sleeping. Why did the girl encounter such terrible things? The reason is looking above everyone's heads. Xiaoking spoke up. A bit strange. Why is it so strange? Let me tell you. She said she can control her sleeping body. The people were startled and discovered that Xiaoling's finger was moving. The whole crowd rushed to watch, asked Xiaoling if he heard them. Wu Ziyu was also extremely surprised. He was about to turn to ask her what more he could do when she showed a painful expression holding her head, and then immediately brought both of their minds back to the old place. She coughed tiredly. Taking Wu Ziyu around was very draining, maybe because she has never done this before. Wu Ziyu called Xiaoking's name. He was surprised because Xiaoking not only entered Xiaoling's body but could also manipulate the whole body. He asked Xiaoking to let Xiaoling continue to live in this world. Pouring rain day. Two people standing on a cliff. They did not come here to commit suicide, but because of the terrible mutated energy emanating from under this mist-covered rock abyss. Thick fog and incessant rain are a bad omen combo that warns the two men not to enter the abyss. One guy raised his phone to locate the phone and said there was a village near the cliff, so they planned to spend the night there. The hooded man agreed to stay overnight in the village. He'd also added that this time the commander's army had rich experience, so he handed over power to the commander. The commander looked at the hooded man cautiously. Unlike him, there are a few people in the world who are favored by God and can adapt to spirit power stronger than normal people. After awakening, those people will no longer be called humans but will have another name, Unreal Sublime. The hooded man was with him. Yan Goyuan is an Unreal Sublime. Yan Goyuan spoke up and urged the commander to go to where the target was. Their target is the willow tree that Wu Ziyu is entering. Wu Ziyu is currently experiencing rare peaceful days next to Xiaoking's original soul. Compared to its first appearance as original soul, Xiaoking has developed a lot. She reaches the same size as a normal human. She also has the ability to control matter compared to other creatures. Xiaoking shows superior qualities. Normally it takes 25 days to awaken Thien Fu, but Xiaoking doesn't need that much time. Wu Ziyu asked her if she had heard or seen anything since that day. Xiaoking, the answer is no. Wu Ziyu became nervous. Is there nothing? After the day when Xiaoking and Xiaoling were trapped in a basket by Baby Snake on the mountain, the villagers definitely refused to let it go. Although Wu Ziyu is currently not afraid of bombs or bullets, easily oppresses the villagers, but he does not want to reveal himself in front of humans. Confronting people is the most stupid thing. Because humans are a species, the more intelligent they are, the more arrogant they become. It is not easy to accept creatures that surpass humans. Just like when dolphins show their intelligence, they are brought into the circus by humans. Or parrots locked in cages, especially strong and wise creatures. Humans want to control them more and more to show their unique position. Any animal that does not submit and exceeds control will be put on the extermination list. Wu Ziyu activated the mist. Mist takes the abyss as its center. Continue rolling outwards. The special effect of the fog if activated in a city, can easily destroy that city. Who wants to drive in conditions of less than 4 meters visibility? Before we could see each other, there was an accident. Currently, the new fog skill at level 2 has extremely large effects. If you go one more level, how much more disgusting will it be? If there is a boss who is a rock player, the pets will have to adapt quickly. When all things arise, they do not always rely on evolution to advance. Evolution is a kind of manifestation of an environmental adaptation, but that doesn't mean adaptation is evolution. When the beasts get used to the thick fog, the fog and illusion will create a sweep. This is not a dream. This mountain will soon become the world of the male lead and his accomplices. Look at the layer of white mist that covers the entire mountain. Wuziyu never crowd dirty. It's raining again. Hixiaoking didn't like this. She was a little upset, but for some reason, Wuziyu was a bit upset. It's unreasonable for trees to hate rain. What upset him was an unusual type of spirit power appearing in the area. Hixiaoking listened and was surprised. What could make her owners so worried? Wuziyu's face turned from annoyed to extremely annoyed. A group of people rushed into our thick fog, yet still approaching him. It is normal for people to go to the mountains to cut wood and hunt animals, but it is definitely not normal for people to go to the mountains on a rainy and foggy day. The unreal Sublime, sitting in the car, looks extremely dangerous. He felt very clearly what he was aiming for. His demeanor shows that he is a person with more power than others. I don't know what trouble it will cause Wuziyu in the future. I only know that right now, he is definitely not average. The convoy got stuck on the way up the mountain. The unreal Sublime of the same-name commander, considering the situation, it was impossible to drive deeper. The commander shouted at his subordinates to let a few people keep the car and the rest followed him into the village, especially bringing those guys along. I didn't know who those guys were, but when I heard them, my subordinates were startled. They trembled with fear on their faces, thinking that the commander who overdid these things was not an ordinary person. This mountain cannot drive tanks and armored vehicles into. Those guys are the ultimate trump card. Why do you think you can take it all away? The inside of the car is full of small specialized bullets to deal with strange beasts. These guys still dare to argue with their superiors. Remember that this place has strange beasts with an index of over 10,000 spirit power. Don't wait until you fail and then regret your laziness today. The superior cursed so much that the juniors remained silent. The unreal Sublime suddenly went on high alert, causing people around them to be confused. In the pouring rain, he heard people crying. This hand is definitely not human. The unreal Sublime asked me to go ahead and explore the path. The rest of the group will slowly follow. After speaking, he soared, jumping like a grasshopper over one rock after another, finally disappearing into space like the rocket team in Pokemon. Flying like that, who can follow? The soldier's eyes were shocked. Wuziyu sensed the danger through his bones and that the person who entered this time was definitely not ordinary, and there was more than just one person like that. He wondered why those unusual people came to the ravine for what purpose. In the end, was it because he discovered him, or for some other reason? He spoke loudly to Hixiaoking and asked her if she had heard anything from the village. Hixiaoking was still trying to control Hixiaoling's body, but she felt very strange. Hixiaoling's remaining spirit fragments are still fusing with Hixiaoking's soul. What Hixiaoking just said surprised Wuziyu. Hixiaoking had a hole punctured by a snake. After death, the soul merged with Hixiaoling's soul. Unexpectedly, Hixiaoling's soul remained in the body. Now continues to fuse with Hixiaoking once again. Wuziyu called Hixiaoking to turn around. Give her a drop of life essence. He wants her help with something. Don't tell us what. Where Hixiaoling was sleeping. The unreal Sublime is here. He stared at Hixiaoling. The village chief standing next to him asked him if he could really save Hixiaoling's life. This unreal Sublime probably has a way to save people. How is the village chief's voice echoing outside? Chief, can my nephew still be saved? Unreal Sublime stood staring in front of Hixiaoling's bed. He followed the crying sound here and felt Hixiaoling's weak spirit power on the way. In the worldview of the unreal Sublime, just from the outside, each person carries a unique type of spirit power. Some people wake up and immediately wake up. Some people take up to 3 days to fully awaken. Through observing the molecules around Hixiaoking, Unreal Sublime discovered the extremely rare fire element Theed Fu. This time, humanity is lucky. The train of thought that just went through the Unreal Sublime's head. That is, if King's character is weak, it will take a long time for him to save her. He also thought that if the village chief knew about this, he would definitely go crazy. It's not a good thing to hear. He pulled out a test tube containing a blood-red solution. That is called Lingyu Qi, has the ability to absorb spirit power from the air and bring it back to the user. In the forest, Wu Ziyu anxiously waited to see the effect of the life essence injected into the King. After absorbing the light from his whole body, King began to enter stage 5. Looking at King's soul, it has only reached level 5 now. It seems that using life essence continuously will not bring a major breakthrough. After entering stage 5, King began to feel Xiling's soul pouring into her from all directions. At the same time in the village, Unreal Sublime dripped Lingyu Qi onto Xiling's body. Xiling's surroundings immediately absorbed the spiritual energy in the air. On King's side, thanks to their spiritual connection, he also clearly felt the source of power flowing in. The spirit power source accumulates into a large red column of light. From a distance, you will see it shining straight into the village. The commander's group of people thus opened their eyes. They are all normal people, so things like gathering spirits or superpowers are very amazing to them. Xiling sat up after being unconscious for a long time. The happiest person was none other than the village chief, also Xiling's grandfather. The next people to rejoice are the villagers. They all love Xiling, but in this case, they are attracted by the boss's extraordinary abilities. Gave him a lot of praise. Said he had to be gentle to save someone. Little did they know that the hooded man was also extremely confused. Even though the medicine is really good, it will take at least half a day to wake up. This child is still awake. Could it be that her elemental talent is terrifyingly powerful? Xiling's corpse sat up, but it was not Xiling's soul that King had just successfully entered. I just joined, so I'm still a bit unfamiliar. That's not a big deal for Wu Ziyu. It's okay if you're not used to it now. Just adapt slowly. Outsiders coming to the village will stay one night. That's enough time to grasp the situation. Yes, master. Listen to intelligence in Hanoi and broadcast it to Saigon. Be careful of being discovered. Xiling woke up. The village had people from the government visiting. Just enough reason for the whole village to hold a feast tonight. The people provide food for the soldiers to eat freely. Notice that the lower-ranking soldiers all have 3-centimeter haircuts that look so silly and adorable. Only commanders are allowed to have hair. This commander even has a scraggly beard. The village chief offered precious wine, but the commander refused because he had a mission. So you don't respect him. But he had a gun, so he didn't force him. Xiling sat like a statue at the party. In my mind, I remember my boss's teachings. Absolutely never take the initiative to probe right away and choose a time when no one is paying attention to ask. Oh, boss. King chose to eat and drink happily and asked the person next to him, "Why did you come here?" The other guy was silent and asked who didn't ask. "Go ask the leader." Yan Goyuan used a look that was 3 parts cold and 7 parts suspicious and glanced at King for a moment before replying. "There are too many mutant wild beasts here, so we came here to investigate." "What do you say? I've lived here for decades and have never seen any mutant wild beasts. Those fiery wolves and snakes as tall as the Statue of Liberty in my place are normal animals." King said, "Nonsense." Yan Goyuan looked suspicious, but he continued to explain. Their spirit power satellite measured unusual fluctuations here. No one has free time to drag their body up this remote high mountain. Wu Ziyu was shocked to hear that he couldn't believe that humans had invented a satellite that could scan spirit power. It had only been more than half a year since the mutant creature appeared. Wu Ziyu continued to order King to inquire about the spirit power scanning satellite. This spirit power satellite is not yet a VIP prototype, so it only shows fluctuating areas and cannot accurately locate locations. Depending on the different levels of spirit power, the organization will offer different ways to prevent it. Yan Goyuan's group came here to conduct a field investigation. Having come here, I also have certain goals. The first is to evacuate people from dangerous areas. The second is to confirm the spirit power level. Finally, find the new mutant wild beast born here. Wu Ziyu heard everything clearly through Xiling's ears. Looks like the scanner still hasn't confirmed his existence. I also consider it lucky. He was originally careful to hide himself, but the day he fought with Baby Snake, he accidentally revealed it. But now Wu Ziyu also has a thick fog barrier, so he's not too scared yet. We must act more carefully in the future. Satellites can only scan a wide area to report the area, but it is still unknown whether the group of people is carrying any more advanced positioning equipment or not. He was really scared when he imagined having to fight with humans, but if those people found him, he would definitely have to fight to the end. It's true that if you are loved by God, you can't even want to be a normal person. Both Wu Ziyu and Yan Goyuan were aware of how terrifying the battle would be. They will have to put in all their effort. However, whether we fight or not will have to wait until the next day to know. The next morning, the group of outsiders prepared to leave. They asked if the village chief had carefully considered their request. The village chief only saw his relative wake up yesterday, and although he couldn't bear it, he thought it would be better for her to let Xiaoling follow them. Now she is losing her memories. Yan Goyuan, representative of the Hood Association, affirmed that he would invite the best doctor to treat Xiaoling. I'll send someone to pick her up later. Having finished talking, they will go on a mission next. This information was also transmitted directly to Wu Ziyu by Xiaoking in Xiaoling's body. The crowd shouted, "Depart!" In the forest, Wu Ziyu is also ready. Let the game of hide and seek begin. As always, the bones cover 360 degrees of the forest. The difference is that instead of a few animals running around, there is a group of massed people entering. Anyone who looks at it will know that they are not traveling. Yan Goyuan had never seen a layer of fog this thick. The class crowd began to become chaotic. This mist is too strange. It doesn't go away and just gets thicker and thicker. It's been happening for 2 days now. They kept going. Wait, did this place just pass by? There were cuts on the tree trunk. It was true that they were walking around. Yan Goyuan started to get angry. After walking for 2 hours, his legs hurt and he kept circling around in one place. It's good to go around in one place. If they go where they shouldn't go, the wind wolves and honey badgers will have to work. From the very beginning, it was stagnant. If a mutation occurred here, this fog would be a good thing for them. Better a fog with 17,000 spirit power than some beast possessing over 10,000 spirit power. So the tree is okay. Yan Goyuan sighed. What a bunch of unqualified people. Why do you think the mist has more than 10,000 spirit power and speaks so foolishly like that? He could feel that this place harbored terrible monsters. I don't have to worry about the others. The guy named Yan Goyuan is the one Wu Ziyu is worried about. The unreal sublime is too responsive. Fog and illusions caused the group to wander for more than 2 hours, but still refused to give up. If you know you're tired and stop, it's as if the river water doesn't violate the well water. If you don't know what to do, then you'll be reincarnated. As a result, the group continued to walk for several hours to reach Wu Ziyu's place. They continued to go deeper into the mountain. The soldier was worried, and the deeper he went, the scarier it became. The horror isn't over yet, baby. In the gloom, there is a startle. The wolf howled, causing the soldiers to quickly pull out their guns in defense. The commander shouted loudly, ordering the soldiers to ready their weapons for battle. Under the dense layer of bones, having to confront a wolf is unlucky. Suddenly, his red eyes appeared before his eyes. Such a close distance was enough to startle him. In less than half a second, he was bitten across the body by the winged wolf. The commander could only lie helplessly in the wolf's mouth. It wasn't until the commander was attacked that the soldiers discovered the enemy. The whole group was startled and visibly scared. The winged wolf's bite even startled Yan Goyuan. His eyes were wide open, filled with tension. Anyone who is not stressed should be rewarded with a round of applause. The dog is so big and green that no one is afraid. Ah, there must be a camera. Is a mutant wine wolf shooting? State troopers responded relatively quickly. Instead of running away like normal people, he quickly picked up his gun and went into battle. The projectile aimed at the wolf's body. Flying bullets are coming. One, but all of them were thrown out and shot back at the soldiers, making them scream miserably. But I couldn't hear Yan Goyuan's cry. Yan Goyuan is originally the unreal sublime. His strength is better than ordinary people. Of course, he couldn't fall quickly. He jumped into the air and jumped out from the bone and kicked the wolf in the shoulder. It caused him so much pain that he opened his mouth to scream and the commander fell out. Yan Goyuan quickly grabbed the commander's wrist and threw him back. Dog blood and human blood splattered. Wind Wolf, regain your spirit, angrily glared. Do you dare to kick me, this guy? I'll slap you again. Thick as dew. Wind Wolf used his front legs to scratch Yan Goyuan's body. It's okay now. Everyone got hurt. But it seemed that Yan Goyuan was more seriously injured. He gritted his teeth in pain. His opponent still stood firm in the mist, like a shark in the water ready to bite to death anyone who swam with him. Yan Goyuan's team situation was critical. The commander now realized the anomaly of the fog. The fog seems to be conscious when needed. It covers up. When not needed, it reveals. Big Brother Honey Badger rushed over. The crowd thought that the random shooting just now hit the Honey Badger, so now it rushed out. If so, I have to keep shooting. The Honey Badger screamed and rushed in to bite the group. Mid-level mutant ferocious beasts are those with 4,000 to 6,000 spiritual power that can easily ignore artillery shells enough to threaten an entire armed squad. High-level mutated ferocious beasts are even more formidable, the power to overwhelm an entire city. The seriously injured commander still fulfilled his duties and ordered the use of steel-piercing bullets. The soldier immediately followed the command to fire artillery and launch bullets towards the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger was startled. The bullet that hit it also dragged it behind for a while before exploding into the trees behind. Thick smoke and dust. The pressure wanted to blow me away. Has it been resolved yet? The soldier said, panting. If you sincerely want to ask, then we are ready to answer. Emerged from the smoke, to the bewildered amazement of humanity. 1,234 wolves plus a honey badger. Everyone glared at the crowd. Shoot one bullet to make 4 wolves attack. But why is everyone's face so panicked? The commander gritted his teeth and thought to himself, am I going to die here? Wind Wolf slowly approaches with murderous intent, now officially taking on the role of predator and prey slash. Wu Ziyu observed the entire situation. Just now I tried to walk around, but wouldn't come back. Now I won't let you go home anymore. Don't complain. A herd of animals threatened the group. Honey Badger I thought was Little Pink, guys. Luckily Little Pink is bigger, otherwise I think the author didn't get enough sleep, so he drew it wrong. Yan Goyuan used his strength to stomp his feet to steady himself. On this side, 4 wolves bared their fangs and growled. Yan Goyuan, seriously injured, still asked the others to fall back behind him. His body emitted small electric sparks. He yelled, I have to lead the team out of here. Also considered a conscientious soldier. The only suffering is going to the wrong place and sitting in the wrong place. I wonder what bravery he will use to save his teammates. A few rays of sunlight shining through the clouds into the forest could not dispel the covering fog. The group of people led each other home. Everyone was devastated like a group of refugees. Everyone was out of breath, but Yan Goyuan still had the strength to curse. He gritted his teeth and spoke ill of him behind his back. I just fought once and was chased by a honey badger. But if he was able to shoot 2 steel-piercing bullets back, the badger would be disabled even if it didn't die. The visit was a fruitful one, yielding 6 corpses of 6 soldiers. The dead were wrapped tightly and carried back for burial. The group of humans who finally gave up after this time probably didn't dare to come back. Even though I really want to kill people, I'm afraid of touching the army. It's also true that if you bring an atomic bomb to fight it, you will die, hoping that the fog and wild beasts would make them temporarily inactive and would only dare to come and explore in the future. Wu Ziyu's face turned dangerous. Before humans come here, they must be stronger. He thought to himself, I have to be so strong that I don't need to consider humans as a threat. Done with these people. Next comes Xiaoking's workplace. She announced that she had been put in the car to leave the village. There were 2 soldiers escorting the car. Having been in the army for a long time, seeing a girl makes my face turn red. The car followed the small road down the mountain. Xiaoking asked Wu Ziyu, do I always have to control this body? But what else? Who would have known that He Choling would have an outstanding elemental talent that was designated by humans to take away?